This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio and ESPN News, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM, FM listing, plus ESPN Radio on Sirius XM Channel 80, plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Uber. Uber Rewards is going to make you love Uber even more. Get all the info and terms at uber.com/rewards. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. Got a lot of stuff to get into today. The NBA trading deadline expires now in less than 2 hours. An hour and 58 minutes and about 45 seconds to be exact. We will find out whether or not Anthony Davis is going to head to L.A. or is he going to stay in New Orleans. I'm here to tell you he's going to stay in New Orleans. I'd be shocked if a deal was made that sends him to L.A. I cannot see that happening, but it remains to be seen. We shall see. We'll get into a little bit of that later on. And obviously, LeBron James had some things to say that I think we have to touch on in light of Harrison Barnes of the Dallas Mavericks being traded to the Sacramento Kings. LeBron sounded off about him being traded while he was in a Mavericks uniform playing on the court for the Dallas Mavericks last night. Come to find out that LeBron clearly is a great basketball player, but not the greatest reporter in the world, because he was not aware that Harrison Barnes had been informed before the game as to whether or not, as to the fact that he was about to be traded. And he was asked whether or not he wanted to play anyway until the trade was official. And Harrison Barnes said yes. So, that's something we'll talk about, because LeBron had a lot of interesting things to say in his Instagram post, which, by the way, despite the fact that he wasn't aware that evidently that Harrison Barnes had been informed, it doesn't take away from the validity of what LeBron James stated on his Instagram post, which is something I will definitely get into as the show progresses today. But the first order of business is in regards to that NBA trading deadline, but it doesn't even involve Anthony Davis. It involves a guy who had virtually no chance of being moved before the NBA trading deadline. He's a member of the Golden State Warriors. He's a former league MVP. He's a two-time champion and a two-time NBA Finals MVP. His name is Kevin Durant. And needless to say, he was not in a good mood. Kevin Durant was a bit perturbed at reports, at a particular reporter, in terms of what has been disseminated in regards to him becoming a New York Knick in the future, which would mean he wants to depart from Golden State after the season is over, et cetera, et cetera. And Kevin Durant sounded off big time because he was quite irritated. This is Kevin Durant in the aftermath of last night's victory at the Oracle for the Golden State Warriors over the San Antonio Spurs by a score of 141-102. Kevin Durant had a few things to say to folks. And here it is. Listen up.
You got to do Ethan Strauss, who come in here and just give his whole opinion on stuff and make it seem like it's coming from me. And he just walk around here, don't talk to nobody, just walk in here and survey and then write something like that. And now y'all piling on me because I don't want to talk to y'all about that. I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come in here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches. You rile up the fans about it. Y'all, let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come on, man. Grow up. Yeah, you, grow up. Come on, bro. I come in here and go to work every day. I don't cause no problems. I play the right way. Or I try to play the right way. I try to be the best player I can be every possession. What's the problem? What am I doing to y'all?
Now, obviously, there are people that are going to be tempted, point the finger at Kevin Durant. You're a superstar in the league. You're signing one-year deals. You're eligible for free agency. Anybody with sense would want you on their squad. What the hell is your problem in pointing the finger at the media and going at them like that? That's what's going to be most people's reaction. I can relate, because when Kevin Durant came at me before he departed from OKC And I went right back at him because he was saying, he doesn't talk to me. Nobody talks to me. Basically, I was lying, and I had to call him out of that. We had a difference of opinion in that. Doesn't take away from the fact that Kevin Durant has always been a role model, has always been a great player. I got nothing but mad respect for him. I just, that just wasn't true. And then on top of it all, when he made the move from OKC to Golden State, I did think and still believe and always will be, it was the weakest move that I'd ever seen a superstar player make. It's not something I just told Kevin Durant. It's something I told Jay-Z. It's something I told his man Rich Kleiman. It's something I told Jay-Z's man Juan, Perez, and everybody else in between who knows KD. I ain't apologizing for that. Because here was my whole point. Kevin Durant was in the Western Conference Finals, universally recognized as one of the top 3 players in the world, that had lost a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference Finals to the Golden State Warriors, who were a 73-win team, all-time regular season record that year. And after losing to them a month later, he's a member of their team, courtesy of their loss in the NBA Finals to Cleveland in 7 games. So my point was that I think it's weak for a superstar of his magnitude to join a loaded team like the Golden State Warriors had. That was my belief. But I thought that about Kevin Durant's move. Not about Kevin Durant, the person, not about Kevin Durant, the player, not about Kevin Durant, the ambassador, not about Kevin Durant, the role model. I just disagree with that move because I'm old school, period. And the reason why I bring that up is because just because Kevin Durant and I had a disagreement doesn't mean I can't agree with him when I think he's right. And I think he's right about this. I'm not talking about the reporter from The Athletic, Ethan Strauss. I want to make it very, very clear. He can defend himself. I am in no way casting any aspersions on him. I am not questioning whether or not Kevin Durant said something that was true about him personally. I don't know. I know Ethan Strauss to be a very credible reporter who does a damn good job. And if you talk to anybody throughout the league, they respect his work. And he's been around the Warriors long enough to have cultivated numerous sources who could have told him all the things that he has printed. So I'm not going to sit up there and knock Ethan Strauss, the reporter for The Athletic, by any stretch of the imagination. He is a contemporary in this business. And if I had something negative to say about him, I would pick up the phone and call him and let him know first and give him an opportunity to explain himself as if he would have to me, which he would not. But I would not do that to my colleague, my contemporary. I will not do that to him. But here's where I will come to Kevin Durant's defense. He did look Ethan Strauss. It looked like Ethan Strauss was right there. I couldn't tell from the camera angle. But he brought up his name, looked at him and said, yeah, you. After declaring, he comes into the locker room. He just surveys the locker room. He don't talk to me. He doesn't talk to anybody. And then he writes it as if I said it. See, to me, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't about the history of Kevin Durant. This ain't about a fake Twitter account. This ain't about him leaving OKC for Golden State. This ain't about none of that. This is about a young man who never gets in any trouble, who conducts himself like a model citizen, who's an elite performer in his chosen profession, universally recognized as a top 5 player on the planet Earth, saying to a reporter in front of the throngs of media members that are there, I don't talk to you. You didn't talk to me. You didn't talk to anybody in this locker room. To me, the only thing I would say about Ethan Strauss is that requires a response. That's it. Nothing else. I don't care what the response is, but that requires a response. Because there ain't no way in hell anybody going to say that about me and I'm going to stay quiet. That's just not going to happen. This is not going to happen. Even if it's the quote, and I'll hook Ethan Strauss up by saying this, even if it's the quote, you don't know who the hell I talked to, Kevin Durant? I talked to plenty of these people in this locker room. Just because they didn't tell you, and I'm not going to tell you, doesn't mean I didn't talk to anybody. How the hell you know who I talked to? What can Kevin Durant say to that? Not a damn thing. Because he doesn't. But Kevin Durant said, quote, you never talked to me. He didn't even say, I don't talk to you. He said, you didn't talk to me. So that means he's accusing Ethan Strauss of walking into a locker room seeing him, looking right at him, and not asking him any questions. But then turning around and going to write, not an opinion, not just an editorial. He's saying your writing is as if I said it. Those are harsh accusations. And I think it requires a response from that reporter. Because I personally believe Ethan Strauss has talked to numerous people. And I personally believe that he's cultivated enough sources to formulate the opinions that he has. But that's not what Kevin Durant accused him of. He accused him of something far more heinous. He accused him of looking right at him, not talking to him, and then talking about him as if you have talked to him. That's a problem. That's a problem. And when Kevin Durant makes that direct kind of indictment against a reporter, I don't think you be quiet about that. I don't think you do that. Having said all of that, the other point where I will come to Kevin Durant's defense, how many times do you have to answer the same question? Because you see, these questions are legitimate as the summer approaches, but as the NBA trading deadline approach, it's Anthony Davis that wanted out of New Orleans is talking about making a move prior to the NBA trading deadline. Kevin Durant ain't talking about leaving before the season's over. So why does his name consistently have to come up in talks before the NBA trading deadline when you know good and damn well he's not going to be traded? I know the New York Knicks traded Porzingis. I know that created cap space. I know as a result of that creating cap space, everybody's looking at Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving, who also, by the way, expressed some disgust with the media and what role the media plays in making life uncomfortable for these players in their respective cities. I know it's what they signed up for. And hell with it. I'm an NBA reporter and have been an insider for years. I've got my share of context, as we all know. So I certainly understand that level of frustration because sometimes I've contributed to it. So nobody's trying to absolve myself from this conversation, but I'm parsing the words of Kevin Durant to come to his defense. Kevin Durant is saying, you didn't talk to me. I've been right here in your face. You ain't never said anything. And then you're going to go write something like, I said it. Those are direct assaults against that reporter needs to answer. As it pertains to, I play hard, I try to play the right way, I go out there and produce, y'all staring up fans against us, blah, blah, blah. Well, Kevin Durant's a big boy. You got to deal with that. Nobody's going to give you any sympathy for that. You don't want that kind of discussion. You don't want that kind of rhetoric in your ear. Sign a long-term deal so nobody's questioning it. Ain't nobody asking LeBron whether he's leaving L.A. because he's not leaving. He signed a 4-year deal. You're that great and you got a 1-year deal and you're going to be available, open in the marketplace. People going to look at you and they're going to wonder where you're going because everybody wants you. That's what comes with the territory. That's the part that Kevin Durant has to accept. No sympathy here. But I come to his defense because I remember when he made those comments about LeBron James. And Jonathan, if you could do me a favor, please find that quote that Kevin Durant gave months ago about LeBron and how potentially playing with him is toxic. Ladies and gentlemen, LeBron James, when he was interviewed by Rachel Nichols, spoke to how offended he was by the word toxic. Like there's a problem playing with him, et cetera, et cetera. And he needed to speak to Kevin Durant about that. I'm on record. Kevin Durant was 1,000% right. Not about the word toxic, but I'm talking about his breakdown of playing alongside LeBron James. If you are a middle of the road player, tell me what Kevin Durant said that was wrong from a basketball perspective. See, on too many occasions, and this is what leads to the frustration on a modern day athlete. We're so busy looking for the agenda that we lose sight of the specificity of what the person said in that moment. In that moment, was Kevin Durant right or was Kevin Durant wrong? That is the point. Ladies and gentlemen, I speak from personal experience. I say something on these airways. I can bring my producer, Jonathan Winthrop, Nuno Teixeira. Or is it Teixeira? I mean, I don't know. Mexican, Portuguese. I don't know what the hell Nuno Teixeira is. I'm going with Nuno Teixeira. Okay? Cat Pastor. My producers on First Take, Antoine Lewis, Kevin Reeder, Brian Bork, etc. Look them up. James Dunn. All of them. You know how many times I get people coming in front of me with idiotic accusations? Oh my goodness, he's saying that for effect. He's saying that for ratings. No, damn it. I'm saying it because it's me. It's how I feel. Who the hell told you I needed TV or radio to feel what I feel? I might need the venue or the avenue that's accorded to me to express and disseminate it to the masses so you will hear. But in terms of what I actually feel, no, that's me. Ladies and gentlemen, go back. Why don't you look up some of my boys from Winston-Salem State? My man Monte Ross, who used to be the head coach at Delaware. He'll be back in the coaching soon. My man Spank, Gary Stevens. My man Mark Turner. Boris Battle lives in Minnesota. Kevin Edwards is right in Staten Island. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Ask him. Oh, my goodness. Is Stephen A that way? Hell yeah, he is. That's how I talk. But people will get caught up in the agenda about the comments and the substance behind my comments all the time rather than the actual comments. That makes you not want to talk to people. If I can't make a statement without you simply looking at what I had to say and dissecting whether you find it favorable or not, and instead I have to worry and about you conjuring up some motivation behind my words, why talk to you? You have Kevin Durant making a statement about LeBron James. Do I think it's possible that Kevin Durant could be recruiting against LeBron James this summer? Yes. But my point is that that's an aside. The real question is, what exactly did he say and whether or not he's right? That's one of our problems with politics. We're focusing too much and too caught up on spin and what somebody's agenda is rather than first dissecting the veracity of their statements. Are you telling the truth? Are you right or are you wrong? You can sit up there and say, well, you know what? This might be the motivation behind what they're saying, but here's what they said, and focus on that. We're not doing that with these professional athletes. What we're doing is we're dissecting their agenda. And then we have the temerity, the unmitigated gall to get offended when they get upset and they're offended by us. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with a player not wanting to talk to me. Hell, listen, do you understand that for me personally, players who talk to me, and there are many, do you understand that they handcuff me? I don't know if anybody's ever said this to y'all, John, JC, others. I don't know if anybody ever said this to y'all. Do you have any idea that when you don't talk to me, you've empowered me? You've given me the license to decipher and dissect what it is that you may feel or you may mean, and you have left yourself at my mercy. The more accessibility I have, the less power I have, because I have a professional obligation to quote you or to at least disseminate and express your spin. On the record, off the record. If you're in this business, if Kevin Durant says something to me, I have an obligation to make sure his feelings are expressed over these airwaves. I can agree with him. I can disagree with him. I can say I don't believe him. I can embrace them with my whole heart. But I have an obligation first as a professional to make sure that his position is heard, whether he says it off the record or on the record. That takes time away from my editorial. It takes time away from my pontificating. It takes time away from my beliefs being expressed in an unadulterated and unedited fashion, in an unfiltered fashion, because he has now essentially filtered me by speaking to me about what his position is. Same thing with President of Players Association, Chris Paul. Same thing with LeBron James. Same thing with Kobe. Same thing with D Wade. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. All these guys. Not talking to me helps me. in this position, it might not help the beat writer that's covering the sport or the game, but it damn sure helps me. You sit up there and let me tell you something right now. Oh, Stephen A., he loves Kobe Bryant. He barely says anything. Yes, I do love Kobe Bryant, but that's not why I barely said anything about him. You know why? Because here was this, JC. Here's it, John. Let me say something wrong about Kobe. I'm going to have a problem. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to have a problem. Kobe will pick up the phone in a heartbeat. What the hell did you just say? I know I didn't just hear you say that. Isaiah Thomas, oh my God. I'm talking about the two-time NBA champion, the Hall of Famer that works on TNT and NBA TV. Oh my God. Don't let me utter a word about him. He's got my address. Shaq, same thing. Barkley, same thing. In terms of today's current players, I can't even count them. You don't hear me say that about Dave. Let me misquote D Wade. Because he's getting ready to retire, so I can tell y'all this. Let me misquote him. Let me misrepresent his position. I'm going to have a problem. I say it affectionately. Because we're cool, even though I don't talk to him much, I don't bother him much. Oh my God, don't let me say something about Chris Paul. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. The secretary, who can get in the way of Chris Paul getting to me? Cause my God, you uttered the wrong word about him. Chris Paul gonna check you. Make no mistake about it. So you got a license. Even though you have a license, it resonates exponentially more when you know that a person has spoken to you and they have given you insight. You don't just ignore it. You appreciate it. And you move accordingly. Not talking to somebody. You've empowered them. Kevin Durant never said, I don't talk to Ethan Strauss. He said, he don't speak to me. He hasn't spoken to anybody. And if you're a reporter that's called out like that, you have to respond. And I'm anxious to see what Ethan Strauss's response is going to be. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. We're almost about an hour and a half away from the expiration of the NBA trading deadline. Ends today at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Will Anthony Davis be in L.A.? If not in L.A., where will he go? Where should he go? But also, even before that, champion linebacker for the New England Patriots, Kyle Van Noy. He's up next with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you will certainly send any text about your supervisor to your supervisor.
What's with Janet's bangs? Did she lose a bet with a weed whacker? LOL. And send. Wait, no.
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at Geico.com.
Janet, I think my phone was hacked or something.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. The Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Pennzoil Synthetics, taking synthetic motor oil performance to a whole new level. So make the switch to Pennzoil Synthetics today. I know I'm battling the flu. I'm still at work. Thank God my next guest wasn't in studio. I had to call out because I don't want to contaminate a Super Bowl champion. And that's exactly what he is. I'm talking about New England Patriots outside linebacker extraordinaire Kyle Van Noy is on the line with yours truly right now. What's going on, Big Time? How are you, man?
I'm blessed, man. I appreciate you having me on your own show, which I think is elite.
Thank you so much.
Respect. And I'm just hyped to be a champion again and to be here with you.
How does it feel, man? How does it feel to be a champion again, particularly after y'all lost the Super Bowl last year to the Philadelphia Eagles? Put it in perspective for all of us, man, what the last year has been like in light of the fact that y'all had lost Super Bowl 52.
Oh, man. It's hard to put into words, but I'll try to do the best I can. I mean, anytime you lose the big game, it's tough. You know, there's a lot of, looking in the mirror, what can I do better? A lot of being on vacation, not thinking about vacation, just thinking about an L, which sucks. And this year's a little bit different. You know, you got your own confetti coming down, a lot of cheers, a lot of happy tears, a lot of partying. Can't forget about that, especially with my guy Gronk.
Can't forget it. Not with him. Not with him. And by the way, Edelman's a sleeper in that regard too. Let's not sleep on him.
You're right. You know, it's a little bit different without his side partner this year. You know, he's been solo dolo. Yeah. So he's been killing it though. And those two, you know, I'm glad I'm on their team, and they definitely know how to party, baby.
You know, it's interesting because y'all was wearing this chip on y'all shoulders per se. I mean, one would argue it wasn't really there. Y'all know, everybody knows Belichick, Brady. Come on now.
Everyone keeps saying that,
but go ahead.
It goes including you and everybody else entire year saying, you know, they're not going to they're not going to do anything in the playoffs. They're going to lose to the Chargers. What happened? We whooped that ass. We're not going to see KC. We beat them. I wouldn't say whoop that ass, but we beat them. But then, you know, we whooped that ass in the Super Bowl. So, you know, obviously everyone, the sports betting world, you know, had us being, you know, the winners, right?
Right.
But everybody else wants us to lose. So,
well, I had y'all losing to Kansas City.
There we go.
No question about it.
So everybody thought we were going to lose to Kansas City.
Right.
They're playing really well. They're at home. We get it, but they don't understand. You can't measure heart. You can't put a price tag on that, and that's what we got.
We're talking to Kyle Van Noy, outside linebacker extraordinaire for the New England Patriots, the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots. He's right here with Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. When you look at going into that AFC Championship game, because Tom Brady called it, you know, one of the greatest victories of his career, one of the most enjoyable moments he's had in quite some time. When you looked at the Kansas City Chiefs, what were your expectations for the kind of trouble that they were going to give you with Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position? Because this kid looks absolutely phenomenal. What were your thoughts about that?
Honestly, I thought we was going to beat them pretty good. And I say that because I feel like we have a very talented group, but the scheme that we had for that game, we switched entirely of what we had been doing all season, and the coaches gave us a great game plan, and we executed it to the best of our ability in the first half. But going against Andy Reid, he figured it out by the fourth quarter. Right. That man's a bad man. I tell him he's got the vicious 15, which is the first 15 plays in the script. And boy, that second half script was a vicious 15.
Calvin Noy right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, ESPN News. You spoke on First Take this morning, and you talked about how, you know, obviously, you know, you were once with a member of the Detroit Lions. That's who drafted you in the second round back in 2014. And then obviously you've been with the Patriots since 2016. But you spoke today about the difference between being in New England and everywhere else. You went from chess to playing checkers. You know, illuminate that for us. Break down for us what it's like being a New England Patriot, playing for Bill Belichick, and why so many of y'all just have such profound respect for this man. Talk to us about that.
Just the attention to detail he puts on his job. Not saying that other places don't do that, because I don't want to discredit what other teams are doing, because I know they're working hard. It's hard to win in the NFL. It's hard to win one game. And so, that being said, it's just the attention to detail in each week Bill takes and into that week. And he makes everybody buy in just 1 week at a time, and to put everything to the side and focus in on 1 week. And to me, that's the difference. Is I feel like, you know, people are worried about, we're playing Monday night on that week or Sunday night against this game. It don't matter who we're playing. That's the best team we're playing that week, because everybody puts their Superman capes on when they play the Patriots.
But Kyle, how does he pull it off? Because let's say, for example, right now you're sitting here, you're a Super Bowl champion, okay? You're a two-time Super Bowl champion, all right? So let's understand this. You're a Super Bowl champion before. You know everybody's gunning for you, but you're also confident and, dare I say, cocky in a complimentary way. Cocky enough to know you can handle your business if you're on your A game. Usually human tendencies tend to take that for granted from time to time and not really be worried about anybody. You can look ahead to an opponent. Steelers been talking smack about you. You know, when we play them in 3 weeks, we don't have to worry about these next 2 weeks or whatever. How does he pull off getting y'all a lock in on just the next opponent? How does he pull that off?
I don't know. To be honest, it's hard to do. It's a lot of different egos in one locker room, a lot of different people coming from all over the country into one spot and just focusing on one goal, which is winning. And I think when you has set the bar already so high, he's won. He has the respect in that factor. So everyone already wants to buy in because they want to win. And free agents, the same thing. They go there because they want to win too. They want to see what that's like. And then you have younger groups that the younger generation coming in that are learning from the older guys, which they've already won. I mean, Tom set that standard.
Right.
So that's already set. And so it's kind of easy to just follow and learn and want to be the best they can be. And I think too, you're afraid to be that one person to fail. Like, you don't want to be that one person and be like, damn, I let the team down.
Right.
I let Bill down. You don't want to be that guy because then you won't be there anymore.
No question about it.
Calvin,
no, speaking the truth right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Should Edelman have been the MVP or should it have gone to a defensive player like Dante Hightower or Stephon Gilmore?
That's my dog, man. He a beast.
I know that. Yeah. But you hear what I'm asking you because that defense showed up.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy for Jules, but it's kind of been the year for our defense. You can't pick one person to be the MVP. It's been a collective group. And, you know, if we could get everyone, you know, a trip to Disney World on the defense team, we would love that.
But the only reason I'm asking that question is because as a defensive player, you're still a football player out there trying to make a name for yourself, trying to get paid for doing the job that you do. And to me, a defensive player being acknowledged as the MVP of the Super Bowl would have gone a long way towards providing a level of assistance to just put the spotlight on defensive players. Look, damn it, there's still defense in the NFL. And by the way, it wins championships, not just offensive points. So, I mean, that's why I'm looking at, that's where I'm coming from when I asked the question about a defensive MVP.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I mean, I think everybody wants that on their resume.
Right.
So, of course, anybody would want that. And I feel everything that you're saying, but at the end of the day, like, that's all fine and dandy. But if someone recognizes game, they're going to pay you for that.
Got you.
So that's how I feel about it. Like, right. I know Trey Flowers is going to get paid because his game speaks volume of just watch the tape.
Right.
The same thing with Steph, and myself, you know. Well, everything's going to fall into place, and McCourty's, everybody.
Last question before I let you get on out of here. You know that they got Kansas City as the favorite to come out of the AFC next season, right? You do understand that, right?
Really?
You know that. Yeah, I'm just saying, you know that ahead of time.
Oh, man.
Just in case you want a reason to get offended early. I mean, you do understand that Kansas City is the favorite. I know you're going to say y'all should be. Are the Kansas City Chiefs your stiffest competition, or is there somebody else that stands out in your mind?
I think everybody's a competition, to be honest. When like I said, when you play for the Patriots, it don't matter. They put on their Superman capes on to want to play, and we love that. Line, like we've been saying all year, line it up, pick a day, pick a field, we'll be there.
I got you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to the New England Patriots. I thought y'all would win the Super Bowl. I damn sure didn't think you'd get there. I got to give y'all mad respect for pulling that off. Congratulations, bro.
Yeah, sorry to you and the Chiefs.
Oh, so please. I ain't worried about it. I ain't losing no sleep. I wasn't trying to go to cold ass Kansas City anyway, so I ain't worried about it.
You just don't like going to cold Boston anymore.
That's right. You're
tired of it.
I don't. I will tell you this, though. I won't mind being there in May and June to see Kyrie Irving put on a show at TD Bank Garden. That I can tell you.
I'm going to be there courtside with you, man.
Make sure you holler at me, bro. No doubt. The one and only Calvin I know right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News, 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Fellas, today marks the 6th-day countdown until Valentine's. For those putting off buying a gorgeous bouquet from my friends at 1-800-Flowers.com, take care of it today. Because right now, when you order early, you'll get 18 red roses for $29.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. to order 18 red roses for $29.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for only $10 more. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon and enter code Stephen A. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. Hurry up! Offer ends today. 888-SAY-ESPN. That is the number to call up right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Back with more of your calls in a minute.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. We're coming to you live from above the Heineken River Deck at Pier 17, South Street Seaport, New York City. Plus, ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, comparing rates to help you save. Call or click today and find out how Progressive could save you. To the calls we go. Let's go to Ryan. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Ryan?
Stephen A., a little bit off the beaten path from what you've been talking about today, but I need your expertise and perspective on something.
Okay.
When it comes to the NBA. Now, I'm old school when it comes to the NBA. I like defense. In today's game, why do you think there is such a lack of defense? Is it coaching? Is it the fact that the players are lazy? Is it just... I'm trying to get myself back into watching the NBA, but I'm 80s and 90s basketball. You know what I mean?
Well, let me answer the question. First of all, the NBA rules have strongly favored a more offensive-minded approach. Ticky-tack fouls get called. There's no longer any hand checking, etc., and that goes a long way, number one. And number two, defense usually involves, at least to some degree, some level of physicality. And not only do you end up getting called for a foul, you can end up getting teed up. And because of that, the combination of the two, it just doesn't work to the benefit of the individual player in most instances, which is something that rakes their nerves even more so than ours. And that factors into the equation.
Do you think that the NBA in the next couple of years will tailor the game more to the defensive side of the ball, or do you think that they're satisfied with the way it is?
They're satisfied with it because the NBA has never been more popular.
Hey, my man. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate the call. Pete, you're live with Stephen A. Real quick, Pete. Go ahead.
Hey, Stephen A., man, I really love your show, your emotion, tell it like it is. But I'm a Chicago guy, and I was expecting in the Super Bowl a little more aggressive defense from Wade Phillips' defense, more like a 4-6 Buddy Ryan blitzing, put more pressure on Brady, and they didn't really do that.
I got to tell you this, though, man. I don't think the Rams' defense is something to complain about. I think both defenses showed up. New England was clearly on another level. They had a good game plan. They went after Jared Goff. We get all of that. But for 3 quarters, the Los Angeles Rams held Tom Brady to 3 points. The fact of the matter is their offense let you down. They didn't do anything for you. The genius that was Sean McVay, the talent that was Jared Goff, along with others, nobody really showed up. And that had a lot to do with what derailed the Los Angeles Rams in the Super Bowl. New England's defense was spectacular. The Rams' defense was pretty damn good. But ultimately, they were going against Tom Brady, and the Patriots' defense was going against Jared Goff. So that was the difference when it was all said and done. And I think that ultimately is what determined the outcome. I don't blame LA's defense one bit. They showed up and held Tom Brady to 13 points and just 3 points for the first 3 quarters. I don't blame them one bit. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
Welcome to hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show, here with you over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250 plus markets across the United States of America. Check your AM/FM signal nearest you. Plus ESPN Radio Sirius XM Channel 80. Plus ESPN Radio simulcast over the live national television airwaves of ESPN News. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. If I sound a little bit under the weather, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. It is because I am. I am fighting off the bug. I am fighting off the flu. My daughter got the best of me. What can I tell you? She loves to hug up on daddy, and she got me good because I feel like I'm battling the flu. Hopefully I will get better. But with the NBA's trading deadline less than an hour away from expiring, excuse me, I just could not skip work today. That's just not something that I wanted to do. So I am here. Also, let me make sure I get this out of the way. Fellas, stop lounging around. Be active. Take your girl out. Go to a game or a concert. Get tickets to something. Plus, the NBA season is heating up, and the time is now to jump on those tickets. For all your ticket needs, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your first order. Get out. Go have an experience, fellas. Get to the game and use what I use. That's Vivid Seats. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. To rehash what the top story was coming into today's NBA trading deadline, which expires at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, less than an hour from now. The biggest story wasn't Anthony Davis and whether or not he'd end with L.A., because the foregone conclusion is that he will not end up in L.A. From what I've been told, Dell Demps, the general manager for the Pelicans, has been receiving phone calls from around the league imploring him not to do this, not to capitulate to the demands of Rich Paul, the agent for LeBron James, the agent for Anthony Davis, etc. They've been imploring him not to capitulate to any of that. And instead, what they want, what they prefer is essentially that it won't be a situation where where he will give in to their demands. They think it sets a bad precedent, and that if he were to give in to Anthony Davis's demands, who's under contract for the next year and a half, it would be something incredibly, incredibly bad for the league. And as a result, everybody's been imploring him not to capitulate. A matter of fact, they've even whispered in his ear that in the event that he does give in to Anthony Davis's demands and move him to L.A., that Dell Demps would probably lose his job as general manager for the Pelicans. He does not want to do that. And because he does not want to do that, lose his job, he's likely not going to make a deal with the Lakers, which explains why he hasn't made a counter offer to the Lakers, while he's barely acknowledged them in phone calls, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you have with the Anthony Davis situation. To get back to Kevin Durant, obviously Kevin Durant, who's not about to be traded, who's a two-time NBA champion going for his third straight championship and NBA Finals MVP award with the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Durant ain't about to be traded, but he will be a free agent this summer. And speculation has run rampant that the New York Knicks traded Kristaps Porzingis because Kevin Durant is somebody that they expect to have a huge shot at becoming a New York Knicks or making to become a New York Knick. Okay. Him, Kyrie Irving, names like that. Kyrie Irving says he's happy in Boston. Kevin Durant says he'll explore free agency when it's time. People are going to speculate in the meantime. Needless to say, they've been speculating so often that Kevin Durant got incredibly annoyed with media members yesterday. And here was what Kevin Durant said in the aftermath of the Warriors blowing out the San Antonio Spurs by 39 points last night. Listen to Kevin Durant speak.
You got to do Ethan Strauss, who come in here and just give his whole opinion on stuff and make it seem like it's coming from me. And he just walk around here, don't talk to nobody, just walk in here and survey and then write something like that. And now y'all piling on me because I don't want to talk to y'all about that. I have nothing to do with the Knicks. I don't know who traded Porzingis. They got nothing to do with me. I'm trying to play basketball. Y'all come in here every day, ask me about free agency, ask my teammates, my coaches. You rile up the fans about it. Y'all let us play basketball. That's all I'm saying. And now when I don't want to talk to y'all, it's a problem with me. Come on, man. Grow up. Yeah, you grow up. Come on, bro. I come in here and go to work every day. I don't cause no problems. I play the right way, or I try to play the right way. I try to be the best player I can be every possession. What's the problem? What am I doing to y'all?
As I said earlier, Kevin Durant's a superstar, signs one-year deals, approaching free agency. Speculation about where he's going to go is fair game. Nobody's doing anything wrong to Kevin Durant by speculating where he may want to go, where he will go, et cetera, et cetera. And if he can't get over that, to hell with him. It's just that simple. But having said all of that, I'm going to come to the defense of Kevin Durant because I'm going to get in the specifics about what he said. Kevin Durant said, you come into the locker room. You don't talk to nobody. You just survey the room and write what you write as if I said it. That's his problem. You're not making it clear, if you're Ethan Strauss, according to Kevin Durant, that it's you saying these things. not us. And if Kevin Durant, that's his problem, then I have no problem with that. If I'm Ethan Strauss for The Athletic, I respond to that because there's no way Kevin Durant would say that about me, and I ain't going to have nothing to say. I can promise you that. I'm damn sure going to respond to that. So I think that Ethan Strauss should as well. The other thing is that Kevin Durant gets upset because everybody's looking at agendas behind what he says. I think it's perfectly within his right to sit up there and say, why can't you just listen to what I just said? Why do you have to look for the agenda behind the words? Why can't my words in this moment, at this particular moment in time, speak for itself? I applaud that. Because I recall many times when it rakes my nerves how people are like, he has an agenda, whatever the case may be. Ask my boys. Ask the people who have known me for years. Ask my man Jeff Brown in L.A. Ask Monte Ross. Ask Gary Stevens, a.k.a. Spank. Ask my man Phil Hayes. Ask my man Mark Turner, Boris Battle, Cardell Brooks, Bobby Williams. Ask a whole bunch of cats that played college with me or grew up with me. Ain't no agenda. I say what the hell I feel. John Thompson once gave me what I believe to be the greatest compliment, one of the greatest compliments I ever saw. John Thompson once said, you want to know how Stephen A. feels? Just ask him. Period. It ain't rocket science. It's not an agenda. You ask me how I feel and I feel like answering the question. That's exactly what the hell I'm going to do. And I'm not going to hesitate. Not even a little bit. If I don't want to answer it for whatever reason, that's fine. One of the greatest answers that I ever heard asking an athlete a question. I was interviewing Allen Iverson on my show, quite frankly, that was on the air from 2005 to 2007 on ESPN2. I did about 327 shows. I did about 780 interviews. And I asked Allen Iverson this one question. And the question doesn't matter. It was his answer that was profound because I believe it typifies people like myself and to a lesser degree, guys like Kevin Durant and others. Allen Iverson said, quote, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not going to touch that because I can't be as real as I want to be about that situation. See, in the age of the Me Too movement, in the age of where anything could get you fired or whatever the case may be, you got a lot of folks that don't want to touch issues. But they're honest enough to tell you they don't want to touch it as opposed to lying to you. And I appreciate that. I appreciate a guy that is honest enough to let you know how he feels. And in the case of Kevin Durant, it's somebody that's asking you. It's somebody that's asking you, quote, what specifically do you have a problem with? Either I can talk to you and tell you how I feel, or I can ignore you. But why should I talk to you if there's supposed to be an agenda behind every word that comes out of my mouth? And, if we're being totally honest, if we want to dissect, I know because you've got a lot of people out there that want to dissect. Kevin Durant's not better than LeBron. Kevin Durant wants to be better than LeBron. Kevin Durant is jealous of LeBron because he'll never be LeBron, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's my question. Who can definitively say he's not better than LeBron James? People will sit up there and talk about not even by a long shot. Kevin Durant's averaged 27 points a game. Kevin Durant is very efficient offensively. Kevin Durant is clearly a better perimeter shooter and a better free throw shooter than LeBron James. Kevin Durant plays defense. What's the problem? His game might be a little bit different. But the reality of the situation, before Kevin Durant went to Golden State, and there's no denying that he hasn't won a championship. And I'm not saying he's better than LeBron James because I do think that LeBron James overall, because of his physicality, might be better in a different way. But it's not in another stratosphere. I think Kevin Durant is nip and tuck with LeBron James. It wasn't like the Oklahoma City Thunder were nowhere to be found when Kevin Durant was on their squad instead of the Golden State Warriors. They were in the playoffs perennially. They did make a few appearances in the conference finals. What's the problem? Kevin Durant is an elite player. And to me, when he made the statement weeks ago, remember when he made that statement? And he was talking about it being somewhat toxic to play with LeBron James. Remember how everybody got upset about that? Here was his quote. So much hype comes from being around LeBron from other people. He has so many fanboys in the media. Even the beat writers just fawn over him. I'm like, we're playing basketball here, and it's not even about basketball at certain points. So I get why anyone wouldn't want to be in that environment because it's toxic, especially when the attention is BS attention, fluff. It's not LeBron's fault at all. It's just the fact you have so many groupies in the media that love to hang on every word. Just get out of the way and let us play basketball. So that's a consistent narrative on the part of Kevin Durant, but he's going a step further with that quote. He's saying that because people love LeBron so much, it's usually everybody else's fault when something goes wrong. We won't call LeBron James out for missing pivotal free throws. We won't call LeBron James out for missing defensive assignments. We'll look at the totality of his game, the significance that's brought to the table by him, recognizing his unquestionable greatness. And we would surmise that it must be somebody else's fault. I definitely, without question, believe that there are people who treat LeBron that way and thereby diminishes guys who are around him. And it's understandable, but it's also understandable why a player would not want to be a part of that. It's also understandable why a player, while the word toxic might not be apropos, they might be uncomfortable with that and they might want a different environment to play in. Was Kevin Durant off kilter when he broke down mid-level players and how they benefit from playing with with LeBron James? But if you are a superstar in this league who wants the ball, who wants to be the first option, who doesn't want to stand around and be spectator to the greatness that is LeBron James, is it not plausible at all to look at what Kevin Durant said and find that there's strong truth in that? That's not possible? I think it is. And I definitely think that Kevin Durant wasn't wrong for saying so. Now look at these quotes. They're out here today. These are the latest quotes by LeBron James. Just today. LeBron James, Bleacher Report, on if he's pushing for Lakers trades. Quote, there's nothing I'm chasing. Listen to this quote, LeBron James. There's nothing I need to get in this league that I don't already have. Everything else for me is just like icing on the cake. There's nothing I'm chasing. Be careful. Now, I'm not interpreting it this way. I understand exactly where LeBron is coming from. He's saying that he's been to that circus before, where a championship had eluded him, where the pressure was immense because the championship had escaped and he had never won a title in his career. That's what he's pointing to. I totally get it. That's all LeBron is saying. Anybody that tries to make anything more out of it, you probably are just hating. But let me tell you what the haters are using this as an excuse to say. So LeBron didn't come to LA to win no championship. LeBron just came to go Hollywood. He's going to fulfill his obligations on the basketball court, but he ain't trying to win. He don't give a damn. He don't care if he don't even go to the playoffs over the next 4 years. Now you're going too far. LeBron James, you don't go from being a 3-time champion and going to 8 straight NBA finals and 9 appearances overall. You don't go from that to not even caring whether or not you win a championship or not. That's utterly ridiculous. That's an insult to the legacy of LeBron James, which I will never play a part in because I know better than that. But I will say this. That is LeBron James saying, if by some happenstance that unfortunate dilemma befell me and I ended up with that being my situation, don't act like I never won championships. Don't act like I wasn't a champion. Don't act like I wasn't a 4-time league MVP. Don't act like I wasn't in the discussion to be one of the greatest players, if not the greatest player this game has ever seen. Don't forget what I've done because you're focused on what I'm doing. That's what he's saying. And I wholeheartedly support LeBron James on that. He's right. But it's worth pointing out that there are haters, critics, who will anxiously adopt a different mentality and won't give a damn. And that is the problem. That's what we're looking at right here. Anthony Davis ain't going nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. I'd be shocked if in the next 45 minutes he ended up being a Laker or anywhere else. I think the Pelicans are going to hold on to him. I think they're going to see what's out there for this summer where more teams could get involved. And I also think they're going to entertain trying to influence Anthony Davis, reminding him that the $240 million that's waiting for you over the next 5 years that you can sign right around June is right here waiting for you. Are you sure you want to leave? I think they're going to test the waters in that regard. We'll see what happens. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Let's go to Trevor. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A.
Talk to me.
Well, I want to talk about the Mike Conley, Marc Gasol trade rumors, but Gasol is just now traded to the Raptors.
Yes, Gasol, the deal is it's either being finalized or it's been finalized in the last 2 minutes that he's going to Toronto. Yes.
So I guess I'll just want to talk about Conley. Do you think anyone would want to pick up Conley in that contract situation?
I think that's been an impediment to his movement because I know Toronto was entertaining moving him. And Conley, you got to remember, he signed a contract for $153 million a couple of years ago. We were like, what the hell is that about? Conley's a nice player and all, but $153 million. And right now in this NBA economy, you realize, hell, you know something? That's about the going price. Conley's making $30.5 million right now. He makes $32.5 million next year and $34.5 million. So he's owed after this season, $66 million over the next 2 years.
Yeah, and that's why I don't think anyone's going to trade for him.
That's probably why
aging.
Yeah,
he's aging, and that contract is
he can still play.
Going to be a lot.
He can still play. The problem is that here's my problem. See, these guys are lucky I'm not an NBA executive because here's my problem. I'm not giving guys who ain't box office that money. Box office matters. It's not just about your level of productivity. It's how much money you generate for me. If you're going to the finals, right, like Tim Duncan does, then it's no big deal because you're paying for yourself. Because you're extending us in the postseason, you're funneling extra revenue into our coffers. I'm good with that. But if you're going home at the end of the regular season or in the first round and you're not box office, you ain't getting that much money from me. Now, Conley can play, and I like Conley a lot. And I don't want to give the impression that he's not worth the money as a player because in today's NBA economy, he is. I get that. I'm just telling you, I wouldn't give it to anybody who's not box office.
Yeah, and I completely agree, Stephen A.
Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to Jay. You're live with Stephen A. What's up?
Hey, Stephen A. What's going on, man?
A little sick, but I'm okay. Go ahead, man. What's up?
I feel you. I was going to ask about AD, but I'm going to scratch that. What you think the Eagles should do with this quarterback dilemma?
Oh, keep Carson Wentz. I'm not sure Nick Foles is that guy. I think if he was that guy, Carson Wentz would have never been a starter. And that's just how I view it. I think that Carson Wentz can ball. I think that Carson Wentz could have done exactly what Nick Foles could do if he were healthy. If to me, the only excuse to keep Nick Foles and do away with Carson Wentz is a durability question. The fact that Nick Foles has been hurt before the last 2 postseasons. That's it. From a talent perspective, I'd prefer Carson Wentz over Nick Foles any day of the week.
What about as far as Carson Wentz's durability, though? You don't think they should try to trade him and get someone who's more available?
Well, you could say that, but my point is if the quarterback's the most important position, then you need to have that on lock. And I'm going with my best guy. That's me. And I agree with that. And I think it's a hindrance to have both him and Carson Wentz because you know what you're saying, right? Okay, the second one of y'all gets hurt, the other's going to play. Because Carson Wentz ain't getting benched. And if Nick Foles was there, he wouldn't get benched. So the key thing is that who would get hurt? And why should we be looking at a team wondering about that reality?
So who do you think the Eagles should try to get if they get rid of Foles, trade-wise?
Me personally speaking, they can't because they don't have any cap space. But I would love it if the Eagles could get their hands on Le'Veon Bell. That would be nice.
That would be a good deal.
Won't happen, though. Appreciate the call, though, man. Thank you so much. Let's go to Chris. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Stephen A. Happy Thursday.
Thank you.
Real quick question, man. Please don't hang up on me. I really sat down and thought about this last night before I go to bed. Would you say that Anthony Davis is one of the top 3 players in the world? Yes or no?
Me personally, yeah.
Yes, okay. I agree as well. He is 9 years younger than LeBron James, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Do you believe that the young guys playing alongside LeBron James has compromised their talents for them being able to take their talents to the next level playing alongside LeBron because he needs the ball. He needs to dominate the ball.
No. They were doing absolutely fine. They found their rhythm. He would defer to them for the first 3 quarters. They would give him the ball in the fourth quarter. All of those things were working out just fine until LeBron James got hurt and ended up missing 17 games. That is what happened.
Fair to say. Okay. Hey, you remember what I spoke to you yesterday, and I told you I think we should hold on to one of the young guys if we can, if we're going to go after Anthony Davis. You remember the conversation we had yesterday?
But that's not going to happen. The Pelicans are not going to let you. They're going to take the farm. They're going to take the farm unless you can definitely come up with something. There's no doubt about it.
Okay, follow me. Well, here's my question. Please don't hang up on me. I already said I thought about this. Do you believe Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka, who's looking at the same Anthony Davis that we just spoke about, top 3 player in the world, we know what he brings to the table? Do you even thought for a snippet that Magic and Rob would consider swapping Bron for Anthony Davis for our future?
No, because number one, LeBron James would probably retire first before he went to New Orleans. That's A. And B, you obviously made promises to LeBron James that you have to keep. LeBron James doesn't have to capitulate to that. C, even though I don't know this for sure, if Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has veto power on a trade, you think LeBron James is not? That doesn't make any sense. And last but not least, Anthony Davis without LeBron James is just New Orleans come to L.A. It's not a better situation.
I disagree with that because you look at our young guys, Anthony Davis doesn't dominate the basketball.
Doesn't matter.
Our young guys around him.
You're talking talent. Okay. I'm talking chemistry. Nobody's questioning the talent, the chemistry. Anthony Davis is an incredible player. Leader, not necessarily so. And these guys are young and they don't know how to win. And truth be told, neither does Anthony Davis because he never has yet. So those are the kind of things that I would pay attention to and I would disagree. But I got to go. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. I'm going to get back to your calls and more in just a minute, so stick around. Don't touch that dial. You're listening live to Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, when you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes, set up screening questions based on your job requirements, then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed. Back to your calls and more as the NBA's trading deadline is set to expire. A little over a half hour away from expiring. We've got it all right here, so don't touch that dial. You're listening live to Stephen A., ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Technology Truths, brought to you by Geico.
Technology Truths.
Truth, you will certainly send any text about your supervisor to your supervisor.
What's with Janet's bangs? Did she lose a bet with a weed whacker? LOL. And sent. Wait, no.
Truth, it's so easy to switch and save on car insurance at Geico.com.
Janet, I think my phone was hacked or something.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio, ESPN News. Valentine's is almost here, and 1-800-Flowers has the best bouquets and deals around, like 18 red roses for $29.99, or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. To order, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. I'll get back to your calls in just a minute in regards to the NBA trading deadline, which is now 28 minutes away from expiring for the day. You can catch me on SportsCenter, 6 o'clock SportsCenter tonight as well with Keith Olbermann. He and I, he's doing a part of it from New York. I don't know if it's Kevin Nagandi or Sage Steele that's doing it from Bristol, Connecticut, but I will be on live from New York with Keith Olbermann on the 6 o'clock SportsCenter tonight. So make sure y'all don't miss it, talking about this NBA trading deadline, depending on what transpires, what doesn't transpire, et cetera, et cetera. Don't miss it. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Before I get back to the phones, though, Ethan Strauss, the reporter that Kevin Durant called out. I forgot who he was talking to. My producers will let me know. I haven't heard. I'm sorry. He was talking to Dan Le Batard right here on ESPN Radio. My man, Dan Le Batard. In any event, I haven't heard anything. I don't know what he said to Dan Le Batard. I'll be hearing it for the first time along with my listeners. Let's hear what Ethan Strauss, the reporter for The Athletic, called out by Kevin Durant last night. Let's hear what he had to say to Dan Le Batard today.
That's the whole ridiculousness of this, is this thing that he's doing where the way he acts completely metastasizes the thing that he wants to go away, which makes you wonder if he really wants it to go away. And, for as much as I know I'm a bad person and I'm a bad guy and I'm the bad guy here, but this is all of his making. I mean, this is something that he has effectively conjured out of nowhere on a team that looks like it might have the greatest starting lineup in the history of the NBA and has won 13 out of 14 games. Look, I'm not saying that we're soft out here in the Bay, but we aren't really bringing the heat. They've won a lot of games. They've won championships. We're not just badgering them. It's generally, how's it feel to win so much? Oh, pretty good. Okay. There would be months in between somebody asking him about free agency, so it was utterly bizarre to take it in this direction. I don't know, trying to get at the credibility, attack the credibility. I mean, it's a situation where I think you're always in a losing battle where you try to assert your own credibility. I talked to so many people and, I'm the most credible and blah, blah, blah. It's just, you know what? If something's untrue, let me know about that and, we can compare notes and see about it. But I'm not really going to go down that road of no, I'm great. It just seems foolish to me.
Ethan Strauss for The Athletic. I hope you're listening to me with what I'm about to say. That's BS. Take the footage of Kevin Durant off camera. Look at me. That last answer is BS. What do you mean you're not going to address your credibility? What do you mean that? Kevin Durant said, quote, you walk into the locker room, you don't talk to me, you don't talk to nobody, and then you print stuff like we said it. What do you mean you have nothing to say? That's weak. Now, John, JC, and have y'all ever heard me say that about a contemporary reporter? And I'm not sitting there and talking about Ethan Strauss in terms of his credibility. I am not questioning that. I would not do that to one of my contemporaries, one of my colleagues. But to go on Dan Batard's show and to say you're not going to address somebody attacking your credibility is a problem. Most people don't know you. They should, because I think you're pretty damn good at what you do. And I want to make sure that everybody understands that my criticism of Ethan Strauss is not about his credibility. It's not about his competence. Who the hell am I to do that? I would never do that. What I'm saying, I'm only attacking and addressing his very last comment that we just aired with him on Dan Batard. What do you mean you're not going to answer that? What do you mean that's a losing battle? What losing battle? Kevin Durant said, you don't talk to him, you don't talk to nobody, and you got nothing to say. You got nothing to say? Nothing? Nothing? The people who you want to read your articles have a right to know, have a right to hear, have a right to hear you say, that's utterly ridiculous. I speak to people in the locker room all the time. That's utterly ridiculous. I've had conversations with Kevin Durant before. That's utterly ridiculous. I cover this league, and this is what people told me, and I stand by what I reported. They have a right to hear you say that. Let me ask y'all a question. A very fun question for all the men out there. And, Jonathan, look at me when I'm talking to you because I know you're going to get nervous about this stuff like that. Women, too. Cat Pastor, you listening to me, girl? One of my producer extraordinaires. You got a lover. Y'all sitting there, y'all messing around with each other. Y'all are lovers. Y'all are intimate with one another. And you heard they cheating behind your back. That's right, you put Cat up there on camera too. Okay? And somebody says, your lover is cheating behind your back. And you go, no, don't you leave this room. And somebody says, your lover is cheating on you, so you decide to go and ask your lover. They don't say yes. They don't say no. They look you in your face and go like this. I'm not going to dignify that with a response. Oh, I'm not going to play that game with you. They ain't answer you now. They said, we're going to go one at a time. Kat, your lover says that to you. I'm sorry. I mean, you might choose not to have a lover. You might wait till you're married. I'm sorry. I don't want to be presumptuous here, but I'm just saying hypothetically, you're sitting there, you're messing with somebody and they don't answer the question. Is that a problem?
Yeah, of course that's a problem.
No, where you at? Is that a problem, Nuno?
That's a problem.
Jonathan, oh, God, I don't even have to hear from you. I know you well enough to know what your answer's going to be. But I'm going to want to answer anyway, Jonathan Winthrop. Is that a problem? Is that a problem? I won't dignify it with a response. Oh, that's just a losing battle. I'm not going to play. Ethan Strauss, with all due respect, what the hell is wrong with you? You've been a reporter for years. You're very, very much respected. I've read your work. I know you're damn good. And this man sat up there and said, you don't talk to nobody. And you just survey the room and you go and write whatever you want as if I said it. And your response is to Dan Le Batard of all people. Because Dan Le Batard can dissect a cockroach. Okay? Dan Le Batard can dissect anything. You're going to say that Dan Le Batard of all people? Oh, that's just a losing battle. I don't need to address that. I got a problem with you, Ethan Strauss. Now I got a problem. I had no problem with Ethan Strauss before other than, look, man, he said that about you, answer it. Now I got a problem with you. I got a problem. Somebody sat there and said about you, who's very credible, whose work is respected by those of us who know, but you had an elite professional athlete go to the masses and say to the cameras, to a bunch of novices out there who don't know you from a can of paint, that you, who people by now know, writes for The Athletic, which is definitely on the come up and does great work, they're now saying to you, okay, this is who you are. And that's how you respond. You got nothing to say. Nothing. Kevin Durant, for the record, once accused me of lying. Oh, I don't talk to Stephen A. My family and friends don't talk to Stephen A, etc. Where'd that get him? Remember that? Because I'll be damned if I was letting that go. What the hell I look like? You ain't getting away with saying that about me. Oh, I'm going to respond to that. Because it speaks to an issue of credibility. And no, you don't have to bloviate about your credibility and all of this other stuff. I get that part. If you walking around trying to remind everybody of your resume or whatever the case may be, there are times when it calls for that, particularly in this day and age with the blogosphere and everything else trying to come at folks. Sometimes you got to remind folks, I'm not new to this. You are. I'm the veteran. You're not. I went through this terrain. I went through this minefield. You didn't. Sometimes you have to do that. Most times you don't. But when a superstar athlete whose greatest crime was either leaving for a team or having a fake Twitter account spanning a decade is the worst thing he's ever done, calls you out and accuses you of not talking to anybody, not talking to him, your response is, that's a losing battle? Really? I'm sorry. I'm disappointed in that. I'm disappointed in that. There's only one thing that makes me feel worse over the last 2 hours than that comment by Ethan Strauss, who I think should have defended himself stronger. And that is this. New York Knicks, it's revealed they're worth over $4 billion. That's terrible news. Because that means somehow, some way, despite flagrant, perpetual, and alarming ineptitude on the part of this franchise, courtesy of James Dolan, James Dolan has no incentive to move on and go elsewhere. Because the New York Knicks continue to be a cash cow when they clearly don't deserve it. So that means you New York Knicks fans out there repeatedly support a highly questionable product. I don't mind you doing so now with Steve Mills and Scott Perry at the helm. But I do mind the support that you showed up to this point, myself included. Because Dolan continues to make money. without showing any dividends for the fans. That would make us suckers. There ain't no reason to feel good. 888 say ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. You're listening live to Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. Back with your calls in a minute. By the way, gentlemen, stop lounging around. Be active. Take your girl out. Go to a game or a concert. Get tickets to something. Plus, the NBA season is heating up, and the time is now to jump on those tickets. For all your ticket needs, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to vividseats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your first order. Get out. Go have an experience, fellas. Get to the game and use what I use. That's Vivid Seats. Your calls to close out the show in a minute with Stephen A. ESPN Radio.
Guess what?
You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it!
Philadelphia, I sincerely hope you appreciate what a damn good GM you appear to have in Elton Brand, because he's been doing it up. Acquired Jimmy Butler for you. Acquired Tobias Harris for you. And just traded Markelle Fultz to Orlando for Jonathan Simmons. All right? And a first-round pick and possibly a second-round pick that belongs to Cleveland. So that'll be high. Making up, basically recouping half of what he gave away to the Clippers. Memphis is keeping Mike Conley Jr. Toronto is planning to send Valanciunas, Delon Wright, C.J. Miles, and a 2024 second-round pick to the Grizzlies for Gasol, league sources say. I feel sorry for Valanciunas because I like him, but Gasol is a good pickup for them. He could really play. The Clippers are trading Mike Muscala to the Lakers for Michael Beasley and Zubac. I don't like the fact that Zubac is gone. I love him, and I love his potential, but Muscala can shoot. And LeBron and the Lakers need that, so I can't ignore that either. Oh, this is beautiful. The trading deadline expires in 7 minutes. Lakers made a move. I think helps them. I really, really do. I like Muscala on the floor with Kuzma and Josh Hart, with LeBron. But I like Zubac, though. I really do. And Markelle Fultz, good riddance. I wish that kid nothing but the best, but he's got some real psychological issues that were not going to be resolved in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia 76ers made the right move, and I'm shocked Elton Brand got what he got from Markelle Fultz. Woo! Talk to y'all tomorrow in 22 hours. Peace and love.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.